Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. I absolutely love it when we get viewers this early in on the podcast, jumping on and listening. For those of you that are already here, welcome to this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Carin Anderson. Carin was raised in a conservative home with the mindset of being seen and not heard. Lacking confidence, she went out into the world, learning how to overcome setbacks, learning how to be a mother, and adapting to all the changes that came her way. She believes you are never too old to grow or to pivot. With a passion of making everyone feel and look like the best version of themselves, Carin specializes in face yoga, and she is excited to share some awesome parts of her journey with us and explore all the things she's learned along the way. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Sabrina. So excited to be here and being able to share my story.
Yes,
It's wonderful.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. And you are coming from, where are you coming from?
Originally, I grew up in the north of Germany, and I'm funnily in the house right now where I was brought up. So it's just, I've done a whole turnaround, and this is just amazing. I sometimes can't believe it myself, how life, it just takes in funny cycles. So I was raised up here, and it's still very conservative, very old-fashioned, and small-minded, really. So when I was born in 1965, so my parents moved into this house, I think I was a couple of years old. And as I say, it was kind of still under the mindset, you grow up, you marry a local, you just do one job, you stay in one job until you retire, because it's very safe and very secure. You have a couple of children, and then that's basically your life. You retire, and that's it. And it was kind of funny. From a very young age, I thought, I don't really kind of belong here. It was a great childhood. It was out in the forest. It was small, but I knew there was so much more out there. And I was always interested in the world of beauty and health, which kind of wasn't this area at all whatsoever. So I kind of told my parents, and after finishing high school, I went to beauty school, and I did my training there, trained as a qualified beauty therapist. And then I had no confidence, really, because what you said before, we were seen and not heard. And I come from a very academical background, a lot of doctors in my family, and I wasn't academical. I was never going to university. I knew that. So I felt very insecure about that. So after being a trained beauty therapist, I started doing some modeling, because I was young, very beautiful. So I did the local contest in this area to get more self-confidence. And that, after that, initially then took me to Milan and Hong Kong. So being an international model was, of course, very glamorous, interesting, vibrant. But then I realized it was kind of the flavor of the month, or the flavor of the day. If you had blonde hair, if you were tall, skinny, dark. And I was very shallow and superficial, and I didn't like that anymore. So I ended up in New Zealand. I wanted sort of a clean, green, natural way of life. And there is, with the help of my father, who's a scientist, I did a whole range of products, skincare products, because with modeling, I had a lot of skin rashes and so on. My skin reacted really badly. So we developed that range, and I incorporated that with seeing my clients doing beauty treatments and so on. And that was amazing. That was really, really successful. I loved it. But then Christchurch, I don't know if you heard about it, in the south of New Zealand, the earthquake hit 2010, 2011.
Wow.
I experienced 2 earthquakes, and which basically it destroyed the whole city. And I was going at that stage, I was going through menopause, and I wasn't very happy. I just didn't really know what to do with my life anymore. And I could also see it would take a long time to rebuild the city before it's vibrant as it is. So I married a New Zealander, by the way, and I got a daughter, and I thought I'd just go back to Europe. I go to Berlin. I've never really been to Berlin. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a job there, but to me, it sounded like a very cosmopolitan, interesting, international city. So I found the right school for my daughter to do her IB, International Baccalaureate. So because she's bilingual, I raised her being bilingual, German and English, because she was born in New Zealand. And then after that, she went to school there, and then she decided to go back to New Zealand, where her dad lives. And that broke my heart. That was very, very difficult. She was the only child, and I wasn't sure if I'm going to stay or if I go back with her. I was very torn. What is the right thing to do? Anyway, I decided to stay because she wanted to move down south, and I couldn't face the fact moving into the house where I raised her and where I brought her up. And then a couple of years later, she developed meningitis in New Zealand and nearly died.
Wow.
And I think together with the earthquakes moving across the world and everything, it just made me realize, my God, life is just so short.
Yeah.
And I think in the sense, I went then to the south of India for some healing and to recover really from it all. And I experienced Ayurveda, the beauty of Ayurveda, health and well-being. And there was just so much gratitude that she survived, because the girl before her died of meningitis. And I think she was going into the hospital already unconscious, blue in the face, because they kind of knew what to do. They had to act extremely fast to save her life. And I think, that's just completely, together with the earthquakes, changed my life and made me look far more inside. So what can we do to heal, and inner beauty comes out. And then, as I say, I stayed in Berlin. I got a job. I was fine. And then, of course, 2020, when COVID hit and Corona, we couldn't really work that well. And I just came across facial yoga. And the more I read about it, the more I dived into it, the more I thought, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. It just fits, because there's so much about breathing and exercises, mindfulness, lifestyle, self-love. Yes. So that's kind of the story, more or less.
How long did you model for?
I modeled, I think, on and off until I was about 28.
Wow, no kidding. Was that really heavy on your entire body image?
Yeah, it was. Although I'm lucky, I'm 6'1" and I'm very skinny naturally, so I've never had a problem with weight. So that wasn't kind of, for me, it was more it was just so superficial. Yeah. And I didn't, although when I was younger, it sort of gave me briefly confidence, But as you get older, as you know, it's just, it changes so quickly, and real inner beauty comes from within.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you get your height from, mom or dad's side?
Dad, Northern German, near the Dutch border.
That's so cool. Wow.